Hey, everybody.
Hello.
So we wanted to talk a little bit about a game series that Russ and my friend Rachel had introduced me to recently that I took to pretty well, called Danganronpa.
Danganronpa.
Now, I haven't played all of Danganronpa, so we can't discuss all of it, but I played the first two games, and then I watched the anime that's the sequel and prequel to the first two games. I have not played the spin-off game yet, or the third game, which is an entirely different storyline. It's still connected to the same universe,
yes,
but it's not part of
exactly.
Hope's Peak.
Right, it's not Hope's Peak Academy anymore. So,
Since Danganronpa, it's very easy to ruin the game experience for yourself with spoilers. We'll do a very brief, spoiler-free version of what Danganronpa is. We'll say, go play it, and then we'll have a spoiler-rich discussion.
oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I figured we'd give people the warning. So,
Right.
the spoiler-free version of Danganronpa it's a game it has three parts. The first part, you're contained in school. And in the second one, you're contained on an island. And the first part of the game is going around with all these other people who you're also trapped in there with, and you can make friends with them, and you can give them presents to get you to like them better and talk to them and grow relationships. And the closer you get to them, the more skills you acquire for later parts. The second part of the game is something happens. And when this thing happens, you get to investigate.
Right.
So you gather clues, and you talk to people, and you try to figure out stuff, and you collect all this evidence. The third part of the game is the trials, where you're trying to figure out who caused what happened. And it's actually a rather unique method. It looks like a first-person shooter style, but it's not really. Basically, everybody stands around and argues, and the words that they say show up on the screen. And it's your job to look for the weak points in their argument, select the piece of evidence that disagrees with what they're saying, and shoot that evidence into the words that they're saying. Basically, so you can say, no, you're wrong, I have proof.
Yeah.
Um,
Hence the name Truth Bullet Refutation.
which is what Danganronpa means. Although for the longest time, I kept calling it Drag Queen Racer
I like
or
Drag Queen Racer and
Dragon Rumpus Room.
Danganronpa's Room.
Yes.
Yes, that's good.
A Dire Radish, I also called it at one point.
Okay.
Danganronpa it's dark.
It is dark.
It has a dark sense of humor. It's very enjoyable. I highly recommend it. And we're going to get into spoiler territory here soon. So if you haven't played it, go play it.
Hurry.
There's the first two games, and then there's an anime adaptation of the first game. But if you played the first game, you don't need it. Then there's an anime called Danganronpa 3, which it has three storylines, I guess, but really it has two storylines. One is a prequel to Danganronpa 1, and one is a sequel to Danganronpa 2. And then there's one episode that's considered the third arc that ties it all together. But I found it very interesting that to finish the story, you had to stop playing games and watch an anime.
And watch the anime. Yeah.
That bugged me a little, actually.
Yeah, I think that was pretty controversial. That they didn't just make the anime a game.
Yeah, but the way they were giving information in the anime, the way they were giving story in the anime wouldn't have translated as easily to a game, I think. Anyway, go play them. Go see them. And now, all bets are off. Spoiler time. And since I've been doing most of the talking, what would you like to say about Danganronpa now that the gloves are off?
Well, it's great. It's about a killing game.
Yep.
So what you're doing is killing.
No.
You're not killing, but killings are happening around you, and you play as a student who takes it upon himself to sort of unravel what's happening.
Well, you have to, though, because... So the rules of the killing game are... Nobody can leave the building or the island unless they kill somebody else and get away with it. After a murder takes place, a trial is held. If the wrong person is picked as the suspect, the murderer gets to go free. and everybody else dies.
Yes.
Only the murderer survives. If the right person is picked, only they die, and the killing game continues.
Yes.
So it's not like you take it upon yourself. You are forced to solve these murder mysteries. But in both cases, in both games, there is a deeper story going on. How did we get here? Why are we here? What's going on?
Because all the characters are students in a class at Hope's Peak Academy, which is intended to be an academy for teenagers that are the best in their field, whatever they're doing.
Yes, they are the
So
ultimate.
there's-
There's the ultimate swimmer, the ultimate fighter, the ultimate gang leader,
Yes.
the ultimate chef.
The ultimate fashionista.
Yes, this sort of thing. The ultimate lucky student.
Yes, your protagonist in the first game is the ultimate lucky student. He just was drawn from a lottery to
And-
come to the school. He has no special talent.
Hope's Peak recruits. They don't just accept applications. They recruit
Yeah.
the ultimate in their field, and then every year, apparently, they randomly select one high school student to come, and he's the lucky student.
Yep. And he's the ultimate lucky student because he gets to go to Hope's Peak.
What I don't like is that the anime actually changes the translation from ultimate to high school level, super high school level.
That's what it is in Japanese. And
I like the idea of
is
ultimate,
just
though, because
short.
it's like they're the best at this in the world.
Right.
Which I think makes it more interesting. And it's good that they do this ultimate thing because both of the games have 16 characters. Well, yeah.
Ultimately,
there's
they both have 16 characters.
spoilers, and then there's spoilers.
Yeah.
But both the games have 16 characters. That's a lot of characters, like, all at once. Like, you're dropped into a place, here's 16 people. That's a lot to try and learn everybody, but the fact that they all come with, like, an ultimate something
Right.
really helps you get at least a very rough grasp of who they are. Ultimate gambler. Okay, I know a little bit about this person.
Yeah.
Ultimate clairvoyant. All right, I know a little bit about this person. So, I think that's a really good mechanic for dumping a large number of people in and still letting you not feel overwhelmed.
Right.
Then there's the antagonist. Well, the pseudo-antagonist, Monokuma.
Yes. The arbiter of the game, Monokuma, is a little black and white bisected bear.
Monokuma's creepy. Like, at first it's silly, but after binge playing some of these games, Monokuma just gets creepy.
Yeah.
I don't want anything Monokuma related in my apartment because I'd be scared. Oh.
I love Monokuma. I'm not creeped out by him at all. I think he's adorable. He's an adorable psychopath.
I think he's a great character. And then the real person behind it all, Junko.
Junko Enoshima.
She is fantastic as a character. Terrifying, but fantastic. I love her insanity.
Yeah.
Just a wonderful antagonist to be
She
behind
has,
the whole
like,
thing.
split personalities and...
Yeah, she has like 5 personalities,
It's
and 2 of them are
just-
voiced by a different actress.
Yeah, just psychotic. Just absolutely psychotic.
She makes Harley Quinn look sane.
She does. I was going to say that. She even has kind of the same visual aesthetic as Harley Quinn. Yeah.
What I really like is, first of all, the first game is a great experience, right? It's unique, it's different from other games. And then you have a sequel, and you're like, okay, it's going to be more of the same.
Mm-hmm.
And so they twist it around. The first story relies heavily on missing memories. Near the end of the game, you find out, some of these little mysteries that we've picked up along the way are because our memories of the last 2 years have been erased.
Yeah.
And so the second game, nobody remembers where they are either. But very early on, Monokuma goes, by the way, we've stolen all your memories. Like, we're not going to try to have the same plot twists. Even though we're using the same elements, this time we're not going to try and surprise you with them. So we're just going to front load that.
Yeah.
So I like that they managed to keep it fresh despite it being the same rough concept.
Yeah. I love the Persona-esque part where you get to befriend your characters. So in between somebody getting killed and you having to investigate and do a class trial, you get to just like hang out with the other kids
And make friends with them.
and then it is utterly devastating
when the
when
people that you're
someone
friends
you
with
have made friends with, especially if it's one of the later chapters, and all of a sudden they're dead.
Like, I've been spending time with this person.
Yeah.
I liked this person,
Exactly.
and now they're dead.
I am very lucky. I'm trying to think back. In the first game, I picked pretty well.
Me too,
on the
actually.
people that survived. And I did on the second game, too, except for one.
I find it interesting. In both games, there's a character who very clearly states, yeah, I got no problem killing you people. I'm going to kill you people. And in both cases, that player survives all the way to the end because they don't kill anybody.
To the end, exactly.
Byakuya and the ultimate gang mobster.
Yeah, Byakuya. Mm-hmm.
The ultimate Yakuza.
Yeah, the ultimate Yakuza. Fuyuhiko.
Yes.
He was adorable with his little eye patch.
But yeah, it was funny because in the first game, I picked the ultimate swimmer as my waifu.
Me too.
And she made it all the way to the end, and I was like, oh, thank God. I didn't want to watch her die. And then the second one, I picked Chiaki, who didn't, but almost.
But she was good.
Yeah,
she was still good.
Yeah, and she almost made it to the end.
And she almost did. Chiaki is Chiaki Nanami. Nanami? Is it Nanami?
You're asking me about a name?
Yeah, I don't remember her family name. But anyway, she's one of my favorite characters in just gaming, period. She's the ultimate gamer. She wears a little, little clip in her hair.
It's a Galaga.
Yes, Galaga. Thank you. It's a little Galaga clip in her hair.
Galaga's ship, and she wears a hoodie, and sometimes when she's thinking... Because for the most part, the game isn't animated. It's what you see in a lot of these...
it's a visual novel.
Yeah, visual novel type games where it's, still frames of them in different emotions
Right.
as they talk. So she has one where, whenever she's thinking, she pulls her hoodie up. And it's got little ears.
Little cat hood.
I liked her a lot.
But what she tries to do is wonderful. I mean, she's there to protect everybody.
Yes, she's...
And it's...
We're in spoiler territory.
Well,
it's
we
fine.
really are.
She's
she's... At first,
the big twist of the second game is... The first game, the big twist was you've all lost your memories. In the second game, the big twist is who actually put you here, because they're the bad guys, and then, oh, wait, no, they're not.
No, they're not. You're actually
She
bad
works
guys.
for the evil organization that put you there, except it turns out she's the good guy, and you were the bad guy.
Right, exactly. And she's helping rehabilitate you. And in the original, I read on, Anime News Network and stuff, people were mad because in the game... See, she's not real.
Yeah.
She's
The biggest twist in the second
AI.
one is it turns out you're in a computer simulation,
Right.
not a real island. And she's an AI that's put there to observe.
Right. And there was a big controversy because then in the despair arc
the
of
anime.
the anime, the prequel part of the anime, they make her into a real character that the AI was based on.
Well,
and
and
people
they
were mad that she was a real person, and then we have to watch her die.
Well, that's what this game series
Right.
is watching these people die. But yeah, it makes a lot of sense though when they said, okay, we're plugging them in. We need an observer to kind of be our eyes and ears. And so apparently what the computer program would normally do is it would go through and look through your memories and create an amalgamation of somebody that you could all trust. But in this case, it didn't have to do that because it looked into all their memories,
Yes.
and in every one of their memories was this one girl that they all would implicitly trust.
Because she was the class leader. She was a real person who was the class leader in her class.
Her death was brutal.
It was brutal. And she
Oh,
brought the
Jesus.
whole class together.
I mean, all the death sequences in Danganronpa are pretty...
Oh, my favorite thing. Well,
Go
I think
ahead.
you're getting that. My favorite thing is that all the blood is pink.
Yeah, it was...
It's like bright neon pink.
Originally, they were planning on a different color scheme for the game as a whole, and the hot pink blood was part of that different color scheme, and ultimately they decided not... They were planning it to be more of a black and white game with the hot pink blood.
Right.
So it would stand out more. Then they decided not to do the desaturated colors, but they kept the hot pink blood.
I love the hot pink blood.
But what I was talking about is... So we addressed that for the most part. It's visual novel style, but they have CG sections whenever a killer is being punished. When you pick the right killer, it goes into a movie of that killer being punished.
The execution.
They are
time for
wild,
an execution.
over the top, but I like the art style of these games.
Yeah, they're very good. They're a very interesting art style.
Yeah, it's very... Because as you're walking around in the world, if you run into somebody, everybody's 2D. Like, if you tilt the camera, you can see that they are flat.
It looks like there's a cardboard cutout standing in front of you.
The visual aesthetics of this game are just very interesting. I like them a lot. So, go ahead.
Yeah, I like the game. I'm just glad that I introduced you to something else that you're into.
Now, I will say, and maybe it's just me being weird, I binged the first two games pretty close together, and I started noticing I was getting some anxiety going on. Like, I wanted to take a break before I played the other two games, just because it was making me nervous.
Over, like, who dies next.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point of this game is the battle between despair and hope.
Yes.
And I was feeling a little bit of despair.
Were you feeling despair?
I was feeling a little bit of despair. Just, it's rough, man.
It is.
Because you're just... The whole point of these games is to get close to these characters, to care about these characters, and then watch them die.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying. I felt the same way.
I needed a break.
Because you do notice a pattern. You generally have about 2 days of just, like, hanging around and chilling out.
Yeah.
And then somebody dies. So after you spend,
and sometimes
like, 2
it's
days,
more than one.
Yes, exactly. And then it's like somebody's dead, but you don't know who it is yet, and
it's one of these people that you trusted, that you spent time with. One of your friends is a murderer.
Yeah.
And you're going to sentence them to death. Yeah. So, I don't know, I don't think it's a great series to play, like, sit down and play all 4 binge style. Like, I feel like that'd be bad for the human psyche.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm taking a brief break to play some more of our Home on the RNG games before I do the spin-off game. Is called Ultra Despair Girls. Did you ever play it?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I haven't played it yet. It's a very different game style from what I understand.
Yeah, it's not class trials and things. It's kind of a
beat 'em up,
first-person shooter,
okay.
kind of. Well, not first-person shooter, but like third-person shooter. And there's still visual novel elements, and it's not a class trial system. It's about one of the characters' sister and what she's doing, like, out in the world while her brother and all these other people are trapped in the school playing this killing game.
And then the third one is Danganronpa V3, because Danganronpa 3 is the anime. So Danganronpa 3 or V3 is it's still part of the same world. It's still connected, but it no longer deals with the Hope's Peak Academy, which is what the first two games, the anime and the spin-off game, relate to.
There's still a high school, and there's still kids. I won't spoil anything. There's still a high school, and there's still kids trapped in a high school, but it's outside of the continuity that the first 3 games plus anime have.
It is so easy to spoil yourself on these games too, because if you find out who survives and who doesn't, spoiled. If you find out who's the mastermind, spoiled.
Yeah. Don't Google.
Yeah.
Danganronpa.
And I'll give the game this credit too. Like, every situation the games provide to you, it's more complex than that. Every time. Yeah. Every time you think you've figured it out, it's more complex than that, which is just really good writing. Mm-hmm. I like that a lot. If you want to play Danganronpa 1 and 2, they re-released them as a compilation for the PlayStation 4. That's where I got them.
Or you can get them on the Vita.
But I got Reloaded, Danganronpa 1 and 2 Reloaded for the PS4. You can get Ultra Despair Girls on the Vita or the PS4. And you can get Danganronpa V3
on PS4.
I think
it's only on PS4.
And you can watch Danganronpa 3, the anime, on Funimation.
Or Crunch. Or, no. I think it is just on Funimation.
I don't know. I used your account.
Right. Yeah.
Russ just logged into his account one day. And
I like dubs, so I watch a lot of stuff on Funimation.
I don't like the voice actor for Monokuma. I like him in the game. I did not like him in the anime. But he's not in the Danganronpa 3 very much.
Yeah.
So I toughed it through. There's also the alternate modes.
Oh, yeah.
So that's school mode, island mode.
Right. Because you can't become friends with all of the kids in the main game while they're dying.
Yeah, it's not possible.
So after you beat
even
the game,
if you knew exactly who was dying in what order, there's just not enough time.
It's mathematically impossible to do that. So you get special, like, happy high school mode after you beat the main story, where you just get to hang out with your friends, and you can take them on special dates and get other scenes that you can't get in the main game.
And if they like you enough, they'll give you their underwear.
They will.
male or female.
Yeah,
They're
that
just
you
like,
get everybody's
here's
underwear.
my underwear. And then so those modes are interesting. It's not just hanging out; it's a resource management game as well. You're supposed to be mining for particular materials to build objects within a time limit. I'm not very good at it.
Yeah, I'm not good at it either.
But it was an opportunity just to max out everybody's backstories by spending time with them.
V3 has, which we'll talk about when we do that, has an even more interesting post game that I'm still playing on and off, and I beat the main story like months ago.
And then 2 also has an extra mode of Yuzume's Super Magical Girl Adventures.
Yeah.
Did you play that?
Mm-hmm.
I beat that.
Oh, did you beat that?
Every level, every difficulty.
Nice.
It's a very different game. It's a top-down action game where you defeat enemies by drawing circles around them. Yeah, and you...
I know, right?
And as you beat them, you unlock new gear, which makes you stronger, tougher, faster. It actually semi-relates to the story.
Yeah.
Because the end boss of each level is a boss she defeats, and then she shows back up in the story and says, I defeated a boss!
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, and there's a Tamagotchi. Second game. In the second game, during the main storyline, you raise Tamagotchi pets.
Based on walking count. Because the game has fast travel, and it's got semi-fast travel, and it's got running and walking.
But if you walk from place to place...
It actually counts the steps your character takes, provided you're not fast traveling. And those steps are how the Tamagotchi thing works. Plus you give it gifts, and you clean up its poop.
Yeah, and you can raise different animals depending on the gifts you give it.
I think there's 6 of them.
There's like a snake and a monkey and a bunny.
Snake-a-me, shitty-me.
Yeah, you can raise a poop.
Pig-a-me.
Yeah.
Monokuma.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of fun little details to the game. One of the things, the one thing I'm kind of missing, and I told Russ about this, you learn in the second game that all of the main characters are actually the bad guys. They were remnants of despair, they fell under despair, and they were the generals of despair's army, and they did all these horrible things, and they allude to... When this is discovered, they allude to the acts that the 5 surviving members of that game did, but they never really talk about what all of those characters did. And I was kind of hoping when the anime showed up, we would see what these people did as generals in Despair's army.
As evil.
And we never really get that. They showed us how they fell to despair, and they showed us their redemption. But they don't go into a lot of detail about the horrible things they did to help destroy the world. And I understand why. Because they want us to root for their redemption. Right. They want us to be on their side. And if you spend too much time showing us all the horrible things they did, we're going to want them to pay for their crimes as opposed to being redeemed. But I'm still curious. That's the one lingering thing I still have from this whole Danganronpa story, is I want to know what they did. And we won't get that answer.
What they did is very, very bad. Because it
but I want to know
the entire world into despair.
I want to know what was the chef doing? Seriously.
Right.
How was the chef causing global
he was probably
despair?
a cannibal. Use your imagination.
That makes sense. Trying to think of another one randomly now. The Imitator, I guess he could have been...
Oh, the ultimate imposter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what he would have been doing.
The crazy guy, the ultimate lucky student in the second one. I want to know what he was doing.
Yeah. Did you notice, interestingly, that his name and the name of the lucky student in the first one are anagrams?
I did not.
Makoto Naegi and Nagito Komaeda.
Nope.
Are anagrams. Mm-hmm.
I did notice in the anime they gave him a cyber arm.
Yeah.
Because he had cut off his own arm.
It's a great game series.
It is.
It's a great art style.
It's
great
very
writing,
well written.
And it's my level. We've talked about this lately. It's my level of weird. It's definitely weird. The
Oh,
way
yeah.
the murders occur are weird, and the character personalities are very
It's
quirky.
it's over the top and weird,
Very
and
over the
the
top.
the killing game is being run by a semi-sentient remote control teddy bear,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and in the second one you have a semi-sentient bunny that's on your side
Mm-hmm. Usami, the bunny magical girl.
who gets bifurcated.
Right.
Even though it's just a stuffed animal, and it's a video game. It was still disturbing when they changed her look. They actually
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Monokuma is half black, half white. So when he shows up in the second game fairly early on, he jumps at the bunny and makes her half white, half pink. And
puts
it's
her in a
very
diaper.
and puts her in a diaper, and it's actually very disturbing after that point.
Yeah, she's very disturbing after that.
Just looking at her is like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, she was, oh. Anyway, so I guess we've gone on for about 30 minutes.
Yikes.
Was there anything else you wanted to talk about? Danganronpa 1, 2, and the anime.
No. They're great.
They are. They're different from a lot of other games. I can't think of another game that's exactly like them. I mean, they borrow elements from. You could say the first part is a little like Persona, and the second, third part's a little like Phoenix Wright.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But this combines them all together, and then has a rich and compelling mystery behind the scenes. And every time you think you've outsmarted the game, you haven't. So, yeah, I enjoy them a lot. You should play them.
Yep. Definitely highly recommended.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.